Okay, we have Light over here in the bottom left, and in the upper left is FORGG.
All right. All right, good. They changed the ID. He logged in on the
Yeah,
his ladder ID, Lucifer Morning S.
Yeah.
I can tell what Netflix show he's watching.
What show?
Lucifer.
Oh, is that a new show on Netflix? I've not watched any Netflix in a little while here.
Yeah, it's on Korean Netflix, so I don't know if it's on in the rest of the world, but I guess it's picking up steam.
Is it a Korean show?
No, it's an American. It's the devil takes human form and is a detective.
and is a Protoss player. It's Satan, but as a detective.
Yeah, he takes human form on Earth. He's not that bad a guy, really. And
but he's Satan.
He basically helps the detectives in the LAPD and helps solve crimes.
So he's like a good guy detective?
Yeah. I mean, you know,
people greenlit this? This is the stupidest.
It's a pretty popular show.
This already sounds like an F. This sounds like
I really want
0%.
you to watch it. I really want you to watch it, Aceless. I want to hear what you think when you see it.
That sounds terrible, man.
It's not as bad as it sounds, to be
Did you
honest.
hear how you sounded even saying it?
I
You
know,
sounded
that's
like
why
a moron.
I was laughing. That's why I was laughing.
As you came out of your mouth. They had to go to somebody with money, and then that person with the money said, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Is it based off a comic book or anything like that? Or
I heard that it was based off Sandman, actually, but I don't think that's actually true. I'm not.
Sandman the
I haven't
comic
read Sandman by Neil
what is
Gaiman,
that?
right?
Yeah, Neil Gaiman, not Alan Moore. Yeah,
Right.
Neil Gaiman. I almost said Alan
You
Moore.
read Sandman, didn't you? So
I have not finished book 4, which is the last one. It's good.
does it sound anything like what I just described?
No, not really at all. Well, Neil Gaiman's always had these storylines where it's actually kind of weird because if you read enough of his stuff, it's almost getting a little bit repetitive. But
Yeah.
he has a lot of these things where some kind of super being decides to inhabit a person's body on Earth.
Yes.
In some way.
Yeah.
Like in American Gods, it's all these kind of dead gods coming back, and Sandman. There's a lot of themes like that in there. So I could see that being inspired by his work.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that being all that aside, I guess let's take a look. A looksy-wooksy at what these builds are right now.
A looksy-wooksy,
Yeah.
you say.
It's like a couple factory openers, probably factory expansions. Of course, we were talking a lot about this before. Light is gearing up for a fast expansion no matter what. Has taken an SCV off gas. Well, the additional SCV, right? So he's not mining any gas at all.
So when you start out on low ground in TvT, are you that concerned with just trying to get the high ground, or is it something that you organically end up taking? Because in PvP and in ZVZ, getting control of the high ground, if it's your main is on the low ground, it's a pretty big deal.
Realistically, the only thing that becomes stronger is 8 racks.
Yeah.
Because they can take your high ground and build a bunker there, and that can become quite annoying. It's not a game loss, because you can break out. You'll have much quicker siege tanks. But yeah, that's kind of the only build where that you're really thinking about on a map like this is some sort of 8 racks play. But this is not the greatest map for 8 racks, just because it is so big.
Yeah.
And where are you going to build it? It's like, well, you can forward 8 racks, but it's not really like the center. The exact center is not buildable, right? So,
Right. So we have 2 vultures being made here. I think FORGG is... No, excuse me. FORGG is actually getting an add-on here. Getting that machine shop.
Yeah, and I mean, this should probably... Oh, gosh. Well, I was going to start talking as if they were going to do builds that are just really base strong on this map, like lots of vultures, like we were talking about yesterday with Sharp versus Sari. But we see that FORGG is instantly making a starport. Which is, again, not surprising. He is the type of guy that makes a lot of starports and is relying on different Wraith timings and drop ships coming out and things like that.
Give me a second or two. I forgot to tweet that the show was live. 1 second. Here we
Oh,
go.
Jesus.
And it's on the internet. Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, look at this. The 2 vultures actually coming in immediately and dealing some significant damage.
Yeah,
He's already gotten an SCV and forced everything down the ramp, causing lost mining time. He got the Marine as well. Of course, with the siege tank coming out, he's just going to have to run away.
Yeah, he'll have to leave immediately here. But I'll tell you what, man, this really does slow down the mining at that expansion. So good move here by Light. You know, one thing about TvT, especially with Well, I guess it's true in all the matchups, but really, Vultures are so terrible against mechanical units as far as their shots go.
Yeah.
Unless it's other Vultures, you almost have to treat Vultures like they can't attack.
Somewhat.
You know, in fights. It's kind of funny.
So many to actually kill off a tank or a Goliath.
Yeah.
Now look at this. Like, Light has gone into 3 factories rather quickly. I don't believe he has an armory started. And if he does not, he's actually going to take quite a bit of damage here.
And the Rax is actually floating here for Light over in the main of FORGG, so he has no anti-air at all here. And it's quite easy for the Wraith to kill off the Marine. What is it, 5 shots to kill a Marine? Is that right? Or 4? 4 or 5?
It would be 5, yes. So an armory is on the way. It looks like FORGG not looking for that right now, but that's okay. He is getting some good damage. Look at that, 3 kills already, one of which is a Marine. Light, in the meantime, going to build his own Marine here. That's going to be a scouting Marine, most likely. Kind of check what's going on, then attack some SCVs.
Is it better to just try to repair the SCV that's being attacked, or do you want to try to run with it? I mean, what's the course of action here?
Yeah, I feel like that's a stylistic thing.
Yeah.
I think running it is a little bit smarter because, like, they're going to be going home a lot to do things too, right? They're not looking the whole time. So you can make the Wraith miss a lot of shots, but if they're microing it heavily, then repairing is probably slightly better.
This is really starting to add up here.
Yeah, yeah.
The amount of damage that these Wraiths are doing. I mean, you can really see it thinning out here in the mineral patches in the main.
Well, this is part of the rock, paper, scissors that occurs when it's factory expand versus factory expand. Or basically any mirror build in TvT, there's a small rock, paper, scissors component to it, where what Light did here, he opened up with Vultures and went into a quick third fact. So if FORGG had been going Vultures, this would have been a fantastic build. Instead, he popped out a Siege Tank, which kind of puts a stop to your Vultures. All your Vultures do is gain you map control, and you were going to have that anyways.
Yeah.
And when you add the third factory quickly, you never have the armory. So he kind of got caught here in one of those small rock, paper, scissors battles.
You know, the push from FORGG is going to be pretty strong here if he goes for it. Is that correct? Or can he not do that?
In a little bit. He can't push quite yet. Like, his Siege Tank count is fine. The thing is, the Wraiths are actually very expensive. Each Wraith costs almost as much as a factory.
Very true.
Yeah, and the Starport costs almost as much as a factory as well. So you're sitting on 1 factory for a long time as FORGG, but he'll jump up to 5 factories at this point. And then he's going to have a nice, strong army. So there you go. There's the 5 is on the way.
Wow, okay. A lot of push potential here with this.
Yeah, and, like, Light isn't dead by any means. You know, he's pumping out Siege Tanks as well as he can. He's got his Goliaths out and whatnot, but FORGG is going to have a lot of options here. He's already kind of slowed Light down a bit. He's going to have a dropship coming up, no doubt. That's just always something that's going to come. And with the 5 factories, he's going to easily be able to spend some Vultures harassing, running around, you know, dropping into the main base.
So the barracks has been picked off here. It's very important you try to get an engagement when you're on the high ground here in TvT. I think for some of the people that don't actually, or I guess I should say have never really played StarCraft 1, you might not realize that sometimes players are on high ground versus low ground. Yeah. On this title set map, it can be a little bit deceptive the way the artwork works, but...
Yeah, a lot of the maps nowadays, like, see those gray ridges. Those are where the ramps are, basically. Not that those green tiles there, but the ones that look like they're in a pattern, like those lines going down. So that's a good way to kind of look at it. Now, this is a really nice move from FORGG. It looks like he wants to push towards his third base that Light's taking. Whenever you're in a position like this as Light, where your opponent is going to eventually gain map control, it's pretty smart to take your additional base at that point. So, FORGG's, he's putting on the pressure, he flies the Wraiths in. FORGG's playing a very nice game right now.
Yeah, this game's going really quite beautifully, honestly, for him. Not that Light has fallen massively behind, but this game is going in the direction that FORGG has planned it so far.
Yeah, FORGG's supply should start to shoot a little bit ahead, because he should start making quite a few Vultures at this point. Of course, we saw he already has a dropship out here as well. Look at this micro.
Yeah, look at him just avoiding that Goliath. Really nicely done. The barracks having to be remade because you can't make more factories if your barracks has been picked off.
He's got 14 kills on those Wraiths. Only one is a Marine. So that is 13 SCVs killed with that.
That's
what
so
a
much.
worthwhile tech.
And it looks like he is going to finally take that one Wraith out, but I mean, those Wraiths paid for themselves and so much more this game. You know, not just with the SCV kills, but forcing the other player to try to respond to it.
Yeah. And now FORGG taking some map control. Again, he doesn't have a third base, so there are things that are weaker about his play that Light is gaining an edge on. But just being able to run around and lay down mines absolutely everywhere is going to be massive here for FORGG. You can see that mini-map. Like, that is some map control. He's got his siege tank set up in front of where he's taking his third base. Look at that. He's actually making a lot of dropships as well.
And this map, I should say actually in this matchup, the entire map, who can control it is more important. This matchup involves players using more of the map than any other matchup pretty much in any other RTS game ever.
Yeah.
This is the most extreme version of this. You trying to surround your opponent over and over and over again. So we see Light actually breaking free here. FORGG, of course, sees that. He'll relay another minefield. But we've got a big drop coming in here. You know, it's tempting to try to come out there and eliminate the mines, but that can then trigger a drop here where you're just not actually prepared to defend this.
Yeah, those dropships are scary, there's no doubt. I'm interested that he even went for the dropships this early. Like, I don't feel like this is a great time for the dropships. He's kind of low on supply still.
Do you want to have a more developed third base before you try something like that? Is that the idea?
I feel like you do. Because if this doesn't go right, you're definitely in trouble. But hey, he gets a siege up on Light's high ground here. I think he's throwing away a lot of those vultures, though. Now look at this, the 2 wraiths of Light that he's now made. Gonna peck away at the siege tanks.
This is annoying. You know, one thing about TvT is that the tank is the most important unit. So if you lose too many tanks, you don't have any ability to control your opponent. So he needs to take care of this pronto.
Yeah, look at this. He's got the, oh, just beautifully done right here by Light. He's starting to pick off so many siege tanks with this. This is always the funniest thing when you make like a really good move and then like a wraith or 2 show up and you're like, oh yeah, I don't have a Goliath.
Okay, so he's now repairing these tanks over here. Oh. It's so funny. It's so hard to actually pull this off. Is he going to get it?
Oh, they equalize.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's so hard to actually repair a wraith in time to save it because wraiths do so much damage to each other.
Yeah. Now, for Light, rather, I was going to say, I think he needs to pull SCVs here, actually. He has to break through this now.
Yeah, the longer this contain remains here, the worse it's going to be. And funnily enough, it's actually FORGG shoving with his own SCVs.
Yeah, that was beautiful to send those up to tank some hits so you can retain some tanks here on the high ground.
I think a lesser player would have ended up sending those back home to mine, but he knew in that moment, okay, we might as well try to thin out this tank line because these SCVs are already here.
Yeah, the scans on both sides. FORGG continuing to rally down. You can really see, you know, FORGG's opening did so much for him in this game. Just the fact that he's in that position still, but I feel like he might be overcommitting. Because if he loses that area, I feel like Light can easily kill the few tanks that are in front of the third base of FORGG and really gain his own type of map control and put pressure on.
Okay, the tanks are going to come forward now. This is very important. Light needs to break this position. It looks like there's actually nowhere near enough tanks here for FORGG unless there's something north of the screenshot here. Yeah, definitely not enough here. And that dark blue area is low ground. He doesn't want to try to set up there. It would always be an unfavorable fight. Now, I think it's probably better if he just retreats and sets up another line of defense further back.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, but I think he's actually trying to break through Light's tanks over there above his third base. Of course, Light will be able to move his tanks over here really quickly to defend. Just got to target down those siege tanks.
Ouch. This is a very tough spot because neither player can really push through that area, but I think if he moves his tanks down just slightly, he should be in range to actually hit that command center. Is that correct? Just a little
yeah,
nudge
he
down?
can't quite do that because of those 2 siege tanks there. If you look at the angle it's at, they'll get in range of the siege tanks at the same time as the CC. So Light has just barely the defense he needs there.
But as Light comes out, it has to be tempting for FORGG to try a drop here. Now, where were those drop ships earlier? Oh, speaking of the devil, we actually have Light coming in here now to do a drop of his own.
Well, right now, FORGG, I mean, he's kind of getting his little push army a little bit surrounded. This is something that we're seeing from him quite a bit, where he'll get into an interesting and strong position, but then Light is just taking the very straightforward approach. Look at the supplies at this point, right? Light hasn't done many harassment moves, like he did that one drop right there. But overall, we see him, FORGG is being like almost too technical, which really is his style.
Yeah, he's such a smart player.
Yeah, he's putting his units in some great spots. Like, he got those dropships early. That's a big investment. I mean, he could have had way more units at that point, but he did get a good spot, but then he overcommitted there.
I got to say, you know, although FORGG is playing so well, you can see on supply here why Light is a mechanical god. You know, he's just powering out. He's willing his way through this game. And we actually have now Light. He's headed northbound here. He's going to be able to set up and try to push into this position.
Okay, so not the greatest location for Light. I don't feel like he should actually stay there, because he's like half on high, half on low ground. That, you know, you get 2 rounds of units out of FORGG's factories, he's going to break through there easily.
Yeah.
In fact, a drop on top would be amazing here, and I think that's what he's going to do. And, I mean, these guys are like, they keep getting these good spots, and then they get broken. Yeah, you have to be really careful. Sometimes you get a good spot, and you're like, oh, this is pretty good, but he's going to break it, so I got to run.
Okay, another unload over here. I actually think we are on the verge of seeing FORGG get flattened here, guys. This is looking worse and worse.
Oh, what's he doing with these dropships?
Well,
I think he's going to sit back.
I think he's going to have to go back home and try to defend, man.
Yeah.
Right. I have to say, this has been so impressive that Light has basically beaten FORGG back on all fronts. I'm not even clear on where the mistake was here in FORGG's play. Do you have a moment you could go back on?
Yeah, absolutely, because he had the early advantage. I think his dropship tech was way too early. Again, each dropship, the gas cost on each dropship is the same as the gas cost on a factory or a siege tank, right? So his army just could have been bigger. If he had just gone into macro mode after his very technical opening that did a lot of damage, I feel like he could have gotten a massive contain up, but instead he got fancy, he did some damage with it, overcommitted a bit. He's still flying around with these dropships. It's like, okay, you clear that area, but look at Light. Light is sledgehammering his way through everything.
Yeah.
It's like you can do these cool technical drops, but at the end of the day, if Light has enough units to both defend and break through your smaller unit lines, you're in trouble.
Yeah, this is almost like we see one player very technically savvy, but the other player is simply bigger, faster, stronger.
Something like that.
This is very important that FORGG does not lose this position, and I think I think he's going to keep it for a little bit longer, but even then, look at the bottom of the map.
Yeah.
Light is expanded everywhere. FORGG is basically out of options. All he's doing is damaging a command center. I don't know that he's ever going to actually kill it.
Yeah, it's getting very tough at this point for FORGG.
Oh my God, this
+2.
angle's terrible here too.
That's
all the tanks are going to take damage. He's never getting out of the Aratosis.
No, he certainly is not. This is going to be game-ending for FORGG. He's barely mining at this point. Yeah, this is something that's really funny about StarCraft is for so many people, for almost everybody, your strengths are also your weaknesses.
Sure.
You know, the same thing that got FORGG into a very cool position. The thing is, he's so stylistic in this way that he plays it almost to a fault. Like, he's flying around with dropships when we're at 110 supply. That's, I mean, 110 supply, you can be broken anywhere, you know?
Yeah, you definitely don't have all your bases covered. So we see FORGG maybe going to win this fight here, but certainly going to lose the war that is game 1 here in this best of 5. Again, the story is really in the supply and the mini-map at this point in time.
Yeah. Just so many bases for Light right now. He's made 3 more command centers. FORGG is mining barely at all right now. Just tiny income.
Look at this drop in the main here and force him to get further back into defending while the map is being consumed so quickly here by Light.
Well, everything Light does at this point looks genius because FORGG has so little left over.
I'll tell you something, man. If I was FORGG in this game, I would be pretty intimidated if I wasn't already by Light in the series. Light looks way stronger. And just, frankly, with a better understanding of TvT overall, I really like the point you made with the dropships. The idea is cool, but it's actually too soon.
Yeah.
Why are you giving yourself an opening where you could get hurt?
Well, if you look at how units scale in TvT, like mech in general, the higher supply you get, it gets exponentially stronger. So if you're at 110 supply, you know, and 50 of that is SCVs, and then 8 of that is dropships with technical units in it, and then your opponent's just making Vulture Siege Tank, it's really clear which side is stronger.
Okay,
even though you have a lot of maneuverability.
we're at the point where I would almost say for FORGG's sake, it's probably better to go into game 2. Yeah, there we go, GG. I was going to say, you need to get into game 2 and not waste your stamina here in this game where, you know, you're way, your head is way underwater, man.
Yeah.
Okay, Light. I mean, looking so strong in that game, this might even be a 3-0. We'll see how FORGG's late game is in